is that quite often you expect Jax to have a decent time against these tanks, and whilst that is true for the most part, he doesn't have as good a time against a Malphite because he brings that additional armor and that attack speed slow, more importantly, on his E, which makes it really, really difficult for the Jax to trade efficiently, to trade aggressively. And that's why you see Hirit going for the grasp, going for a keystone designed to make his laning phase a bit stronger.
One of the things that I actually am just now appreciating, since I'm seeing all the champion portraits and really going to put my mind to it, Lava's going to get a lot of value out of Silas. There are several very good ultimates here.
And you know what those ultimates help him do? Dive backline.
Yep. Have a good time, Root.
This has been a complete Uno reverse card, right?
Yeah.
Natuno had no fun last game, and he just wants to repay the favor absolutely tenfold to the opponent AD carry. That cleanse is going to have to do some very, very heavy lifting for Root.
It really is, especially because there's not really anybody on the team that's meant specifically to peel for him. Even Seos, when we've seen Seos on the Amumu before, is so often the person flashing in to pick up the engages. Oh, yeah. Not the one peeling for his backline, so...
He's going to bandage shots and go bye-bye.
Yeah. Root's positioning better be immaculate this game. As everybody starts off, I'd say pretty simply. We do have an important ward placed into the red side jungle of Loud that should help track Croc a little bit better, since he was starting plays pretty early last game.
Yeah, he was doing well for himself, and... I think really sort of demonstrated the ethos that Loud had last game, where it's like, we don't need to do as much early. I just need to be shadowing the right lanes, getting into the right position. But on the Vi, you are a bit more incentivized to play it aggressively, especially when you have got the Ari. And I'm interested to see whether Loud can actually get a bit more use out of this combo than Los Grandes did in the previous game.
Yeah, and again, questions about the way that we're going to see mid 2v2 play out for Los Grandes. Lava and Ranger were expected to be a big part of the last game. Didn't quite get it done. And while they've again got technically a decent duo, it's a lot more effective when they're doing other things, when they're starting fights, as seemingly the Los Grandes bot lane want to. Seo is going to take a lot of damage for that trade. Rightly so.
Yeah. Deserved it for picking a Mumu. But that's another thing about this bottom lane for Los Grandes they haven't really touched on. There is a lot of setup potential here for the Veigar. Like, if you can bone skewer someone into a cage, that's so easy then for Notino to drop all of the damage on his opponent. And this Amumu is not going to be particularly tanky. He's not one of these engaged supports that actually provides too much tank for himself. He's not a Nautilus who can give himself a shield. He's not an Alistair who could just press his ultimate and ignore damage completely. Even with the level ups and the gold that he's going to get, he's not really going to become too much tankier. So definitely someone that can be focused in that bottom lane, even if Los Grandes aren't able to get the engage onto Root.
Both junglers have picked up a decent amount of tracking onto each other, as Lava did spot Croc clearing out the Raptors, as simultaneously Ranger and Lava got seen on a ward. So a little bit more information to both sides here. Should keep our early game pretty simple for the moment. Zay and Natuno want to farm. Nothing's really going to happen in the mid lane, and Jax still simply does not have enough damage, though we've seen some interesting wave stacking from Hirit already to try and keep Robo on the back foot and threaten the dives.
Yeah, and I mean, that's really how you control top lane. It's all well and good hitting your opponent, but it's how you hit the wave, and it's when you hit the wave, and how many times you hit the wave that seem to really dictate the pace of that lane. You see just a little bit of covering here on the bottom side from Croc to make sure that Root and CS are able to clear this wave cleanly. Although saying that, do have Ranger on the bottom half of the rift. He could try and make something happen.
Gonna discover that his Krug's unfortunately invisible. And here I'm gonna continue pushing on the top side. Now, I think that with this information, everybody should know exactly where Croc is still, which is why here it's able to play comfortably, getting this wave to push out. But with just a few seconds left on the Dragon, it's a matter of controlling where the junglers actually can be. Everybody going to take their big reset now. See if you can pick up enough golden items to really take this fight convincingly, because Dragon is where it was at early last game for Loud, and it's where Los Grandes want to focus earlier on.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are Los Grandes, you've got Silas Sejuani, which is a great mid-jungle pairing. Really, any melee champion with a Sejuani is going to be a great pairing because it means that you can proc that passive so quickly, and you can make a lot of these aggressive moves. Lava is going to get a massive power spike at 6 for himself anywhere on the Silas, and if you are making aggressive plays, then a Drake is a great place to find him.
And it certainly is. Resets coming through on the top side as well. A little bit of wave push towards bot side, and Loud have lost control of the vision that they once had. Tinon's going to pop back in and see what he can rectify of that. They do have full control over what in the Dragon Pit gets seen with the pink board, but for now, we're going to continue bouncing waves back and forth. Neither team really wanted to take that risk. Nice charm onto Lava.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it is a little bit... It's not great for Loud, right? That Tinones has kind of been locked in this mid lane for a little bit, and the Lava is going to be able to get that shove out. We do see Ranger now pop down into this bottom side jungle, and you can see that Los Grandes still have a bit of prior and are willing to take control, but Robo is rotating down. Level 6 now on the Malphite, has access to that ultimate, could be a big threat if Lava's not careful.
Now here, oh my god, flash into the ult as well means that you've got no time to react. What was that? If Lava's not careful?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like Lava would have felt like he was still being pretty careful, but
yeah.
Rob dips into Fog of War. Los Grandes don't respect the roam from the Malphite, and hey, you're able to sort of rectify a little bit of the rough laning phase that you have been having. Giving Hero a plate, though, is not great, and it actually helps to even out that gold advantage that Loud have claimed for themselves, but still, First Blood's a First Blood.
That's true. It's going to be a big boon. I think they expected to be able to transition that into something like the Drake, but couldn't just because of the way that Hero was stacking the wave. Let's take a look at that again to just see exactly how safe Love is. I don't think he has any idea.
Yeah,
nothing?
What's his reaction time here? Like, nothing. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no choice. They double jumped on him too. This is like there's no space. We cut to that perspective.
I love that.
I would much rather have gotten Lava's perspective as he just takes his hands off the keyboard, but he's not the only one. Croc gets picked off, and nice insta-cleanse from Root. Does follow up on what is evidently a Los Grandes win in the river just around this dragon. Robo still doesn't have teleport, doesn't have the ultimate, isn't frickin' there, so I guess we've got a Chemtech dragon for Los Grandes.
Oh, we might have a kill in the mid lane. No, we won't. Okay, that's fair enough. But this is what we're talking about. This combo that Los Grandes have got for themselves is so strong at this specific point, and Loud haven't been able to make it happen. You see that Los Grandes get the first move over here, and whilst Crocs is level 6, he is able to get in there. He's simply not got the support. He's going to be ulting forward, and essentially everyone is cut off. The damage isn't there in time, and honestly, this is just over-aggressive from Loud.
Yeah, I didn't really have a game plan there, especially when the Vi is ulting in. We saw perfectly how this can play out with Netuno being able to lay down the cage and go, Levi's alone now. And while Seos, gets to pop in there a little bit later with the bandage toss, Vi and Amumu are not the 2v3 machines that you were looking for.
No. They simply aren't able to sort of damage and apply CC to multiple people in that scenario. Yes, you've got the double bandage toss from the Amumu, but it wasn't really a situation where that was going to work for you. And then if you're trying to CC people, the Sejuani just has a little bit more of it when compared to the Vi. This is the nicest stat wave in the top lane, and 4 members of Loud, here it is not long for this world.
Yeah, matter of how long he can survive. Nice counter strike, does keep everybody occupied for a little while longer, but Loud aren't going to suffer a loss. The question is, will they in the bot lane? Root has to know that this is coming, and everybody's set up to jump on him. Remember, no cleanse on Root, just has the flash to outplay, and then the baby cage is sidestepping rather well, managing to clear the wave, and Zay and Ranger have to tank the turret to start this gank off again. Flash goes out this time, avoiding the ultimate, and in the bot lane, 1 versus 3, Root picks up a kill.
That is an absolutely incredible play coming out from Root. You could see there he was hitting onto those minions. He knew that as soon as that wave came in that Los Grandes were going to go for the dive. He was ready. What a flash to get himself out of there and get the kill in the 1v3.
That was so cool. And it's exactly the kind of play that you see from your AD carry that makes you go, you went above and beyond this game. We didn't expect you to survive that. Everybody thought you were dead. And while you died, you did an incredible job. That's just really, really heartening. It's going to, of course, push Root a little bit further forward on the path to better itemization. Cull Pop coming in soon for this guy as well, but the game plan for Loud is clear. Get the rest of the map snowballed to the point where Root can sit back and relax a little bit, farm up the gold that the rest of the team is allowing to be such easy priority for him. Flash forward from Netuno, though, and Root, remember, now doesn't have the flash, so the second gank is not going to be even close. Seos, no summoners available, no hope in this bot side, has Loud paying for an overextension that they knew.
And that is just the worst feeling as an AD carry. You're right, you made a good play on the weak side, and hey, if Loud are winning on their strong side and winning on their weak side, then that's going to be brilliant for them. But spending that summoner spell means that the repeat is possible. That is a good recognition of the play from Los Grandes. Loud, though, still responding with that Herald in the mid lane. Cresting the 11.5-minute mark, we are basically dead even.
And these teams have definitely taken bites out of each other on both sides. What's concerning me, certainly, is this roam potential from Zay. We haven't seen him really whip out the ultimate just yet. Picked up, I believe, a kill earlier in the bot side with it. No, he tried to use it onto Root and it didn't quite work. But as Zay is able to use that ultimate more and more, the gold sharing is actually what could rocket Los Grandes to a really big lead. Remember, they've got that Veigar that needs to hit critical, big, expensive item points. The more often they can say, hey, everybody gets a lot of gold, the better.
Yeah. No. It's all about having all the gold on Robo. The largest Malphite possible in your game. But you're right. Games have been lost and won in the past based on the wrong person getting a couple of kills in the early game. Like, you look at Ranger, right? 2 kills on a Sejuani. That's great. But how much better would you feel if those were going onto someone like Netuno, right?
Yeah.
So that is that game you have to play and is something that you need to be aware of. I think for the time being, though, this game hasn't really swung too heavily in favor of one individual champion being a big carry. Across the board, itemization, it is relatively equivalent.
I tell you what it makes me really excited for. It makes me really excited for this Dragon. 20 seconds on the Hex Tech. Both teams seemed to really want it before, to the point that Croc actually died trying to get a good position in the Dragon Pit. I don't expect that to have changed too much. With the relatively even place that we are, both teams have their own win conditions and should be opting into engagements around this Dragon Pit.
Yeah, and you see it's actually Loud who have been able to get the lion's share of the vision initially, which is going to give them first move into this river, and Los Grandes are starting to rotate over, but there is no TP available for Hera, and Robo is already moving down the river. I don't know why I keep calling him Robo. Loud might be looking for a pick off of the back of it, but no, they'll get that Drake and they'll back away.
That is so like you, Tracian.
Touche. All right. I think it's my Australian roots, genuinely. Like,
I think it's because I was DMing Tracian at the time.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'll be like talking to someone, I'll be telling them about something, I'll be just like, I Googled exactly what I just said to you, and I don't know why.
It is quite funny, and unfortunately for us, it's it's turned into a quite contentious relationship on this desk, at each other's throats.
Has it?
No.
I'm feeling like it's contentious because you've told me it's contentious.
Yeah.
This is like sort of the casting equivalent of like people have been saying.
Yeah.
Because when you say people have been saying, anyone could have been saying. But people have been saying. Yeah.
General statements like, I know that I do them, but man, like, does it hurt me?
Yeah.
There's one that's like, historically a really good player. You can say that for historically good players. You can also say it for anyone. You
can. No, you can. I think because everyone has had at least like a couple of good games. They were historically good. Yeah, they played for one split for Copenhagen Wolves back in 2014. Historically, very, very good in that particular split, though.
That was awesome for them. In a couple minutes, we will have next Rift Herald up, so just in case anybody was wondering, Croc, however, trapped in the baby cage once again, gets his way out with the ultimate, and Root is somehow in the middle of 4 people and totally fine. This guy's surviving for way longer than I'd expected and dealing out a lot of damage, but finally is going to get CC'd with the rest of Los piling in. Hear it, looking for the stun on Tinones, will not find it before he takes down Ranger, and losing your jungler now is a big deal. 3 versus 3 up towards the top side. Plenty of damage still coming from Netuno as Robo has to back away, and here it looks for a way in once again. Los on the retreat. Loud, not a whole lot of follow-up they can still throw out, so we're gonna take what we got.
Los Grandes, that felt needlessly aggressive in the top side. Hunting for it, eventually able to take him down there. And in the end of it, no one really comes out any stronger than they were before. I believe it did end up being a 2-for-2, and Los Grandes have actually been able to establish some decent vision around this Herald, so I guess that is a consequence of that play as they start it up. But Loud still know this is happening and absolutely able to rotate over.
The biggest benefit for Los Grandes, however, was getting the ultimate out of that Malphite. Now you know that when these cooldowns are out of Loud, their team fighting is so much less effective. And the same, well, it still does apply to Los Grandes, isn't really true. When they don't have ultimates, they've still got these inherent things about their kits that make them really good. Specifically, Baby Cage for Vigar, constant damage to Sejuani. You've always got Jax's Counter-Strike.
Ooh, okay.
Loud are a little bit more ult-reliant, and we're seeing it sort of bite them here as they're not able to take the subsequent fights.
Yeah, I mean, Tinone's especially right on this Ahri. I mean, if he doesn't have the Spirit Rush, it's so difficult for him to find picks. Has gone for the Everfrost. So again, we are seeing another composition with an Ahri here where it really does become all on the AD carry to be the primary damage dealer. And Root, he's 1-3 right now. I do dare say I believe that death column may be going up towards the end of this game, no matter what the result ends up being.
Yeah, not gonna have an easy time surviving at all. Waiting for the second item to come in is going to be a while yet, and with plenty to happen before we end up seeing the Infinity Edge come through. It's going to be Netuno in the driver's seat until then. We talked about the expense of this Vigar needing to hit these really big item points, specifically with what I can only assume to be a Rabadon's that he's going to pick up either second or third item. He's only going to continue getting stronger, and the gold that Los Grandes are achieving in this time isn't going anywhere. They're not having a difficult time approaching lanes or getting farm.
Yeah, I think Netuno is shopping exclusively Gucci right now.
Yeah.
I believe he's got a brand deal with them. But regardless of the designer choices of Los Grandes' bot laner, they are the ones moving around this dragon. It is interesting that we have had a dragon apiece for both these teams because it makes the value of this sort of third dragon on the map go down because the enemy team taking it isn't going to give them too much power. But if you do want to stack them up, something that you are going to want to take away. Los Grandes, they do get the mid shove and they're able to move into the river, but watch out, Loud are lurking in the bushes.
Yeah, if you're Netuno specifically, take the long way around. Like, there's no reason to push up into Loud any more than you have to. Netuno's grouping up. Out goes the Rift Herald.
Lane.
As Los Grandes, suppose they're saying, well, we're going to get something. If we get pushed off this dragon, we're going to get the minions. That's what Shelly's looking at right now. Ranger gets that Glacial Prison. Hear it. Gets a really nice Counter-Strike that forces the ultimate out of Tinones. Has yet to find some crucial CC as Lava goes golden. Has the Malphite ultimate and out he comes! The Zanyas just lets people explode! And more kills funnel into Zay as well. That is a lot of shared gold. This is a big fight for Los Grandes. And after Zay picks up the double, lets Netuno pick up the next one with the kill onto Robo. It's Los in the driver's seat, unquestionably.
Absolutely massive team fight coming through from especially Hirit and Lava. It looked bad at the start for Los Grandes, but they were able to get that flank. What were we talking about in the pregame? They bypassed the backline. They went straight onto the targets that they needed to, and with that, they finally get an advantage in this game. One of these teams finally gets an advantage in game 2. I was initially quite worried for Loud here because look how far back Robo is standing, but Los Grandes are happy to engage into Loud for the time being. But crucially, they don't get caught by much of this exit CC. Natuno is still alive, and then look at that ult combo. You've got the Silas going in, you've got the Jax going in, you've got Zay jumping on top with the depth from below. That is how this Los Grandes composition is meant to be played. And Loud need to be very, very careful that the next team fight doesn't go a similar way. Because if that happens one more time, they can snowball so effectively off something like a Baron.
And there are so many tools on Loud that say, you don't get to play the game. You don't get to play the game. We collectively don't get to play the game. And yet, Los Grandes, with this Silas pick, are able to do so much. It's really paying off in the sense that now Lava, who isn't having this really high barrier of execution on, say, something like an Akali, having to find these specific picks or whatnot, now he gets to take generally good ultimates, apply them to generally good places, and do plenty of damage on Silas as it all happens. So I really like the look out of him. If it's not clear, last team fight, just incredible.
And I mean, you look at Loud, you think, who is actually going to be able to get through a high HP target? Root is still yet to pick up his second item on the Aphelios, and Tinons, like we already mentioned, has gone for a lower damage Ahri build. Yes, they're going to be picking up a Rabadon soon, but even still, that champion still doesn't deal with tanks very well. So, yeah, if you're on the side of Los Grandes, you're kind of happy to just walk into Loud for the time being because you've got that bonus HP that they're not going to be able to deal with.
Yeah, some really nice ults out of Zai as well to make sure that the rest of the team got some additional gold. It's what's contributing to that massive swing that we see in the gold graph, and to Los Grandes' confidence as they approach now the top side of the map, eliminating that last outer turret. They're going to try and eliminate Tinos. He gets caught in the cage and shut down by Natuno. That is a big pick for Los Grandes, and one that could turn into the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely could. Zay pulled Tinones out of the cage, but then the mid laner for Loud just spirit rushes straight back into it. Mistake or not, it's a play, it's a pick regardless, and Los Grandes are pulling at TPs to start up this Baron. Loud are contesting. When Tinones respawns in 15 seconds, he will be able to join the fight.
In comes Lava, nice ultimate with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, locks in 3 people, and Seos is the first to go down. Here it chases Root on the backside, and in the meantime, the meat grinder of Los Grandes chews up the remaining members of the team. Robo barely managing to emerge, barely managing to survive, does get a big ultimate here, but it doesn't turn into any kills. Tinones can't stick around and has to Spirit Rush twice to get out, and Los Grandes turn right back onto the Baron.
Yeah, and with no Moonlight Vigil available for Root, I think that is it. That was the sort of the last respite or hope that Loud would have had to contest this Baron, but they'll have to settle for the mid lane tower instead. In Game 2, Los Grandes coming out with a much stronger performance.
A minute left on this dragon. Loud are trying to set up for it to reclaim some sort of advantage for what they've just lost in basically 2 consecutive team fights. They're going to try and reset for it now. Croc making his way over, but Los Grandes with the Baron buff are on the way. Los Grandes, by the way, who managed to take Baron without really a source of consistent damage.
Well, I mean, they're consistently damaging their enemy, and I think that's all that they really have needed this game. And hey, if you take this game out of sort of the individual context and look across the entire series, if this Veigar bot lane is something that you need to respect on the side of Loud, then that's going to open up a whole series of other questions for you. What if it's not just this Veigar? What if Natuno's got some other mage that he's going to want to pull out? And if that happens again to Loud in this series, they could be on the back foot after what was a very dominant Game 1.
Yeah, and the fact that, you know, as Los Grandes, you're able to reverse this is really good as well. Something that we haven't seen from the rest of the CBLOL playoffs so far. We've had 2 3-0s, and it's increasingly looking like it will not be one of them.
Still got time. Got time.
True. I mean, Loud's comp does have a lot of big team fight ults, so anything is possible.
Yeah, I mean, essentially right. There's this old saying, if you malfight ult the right people, you kind of just win. Hey, that's nice for Natuno. He picks up the extra AP off last hitting that Drake. But anyway, yes, if Robo does just land a pretty damn good ultimate, you can get things going. Whilst Los Grandes don't fall into the same trap that Loud have of being a really sort of single carry team, Natuno is still a lot of the damage. And if this Veigar, I don't know, dies at some point this game, that's a boom for Loud. The issue is getting on top of him. Los Grandes have been so aggressive with their team fight positioning that Loud have constantly been running backwards. And when you're running backwards, it's really difficult to pick off the enemy mage who's over 1,000 units away.
Yeah, it's not been an easy road for them for the moment. I actually really like the play from Loud now. They know they're behind, but they've still got a lot of CC to pick somebody off. The question is, will they actually go for it? They've got the Fog of War advantage for a second, but just like that, it all goes away. Well, Los Grandes transfer up to the top side and should be able to take another tower. Loud can't really defend this.
Yeah, and that's one of the underrated strengths of Pyke as a support, is he can go invisible, and that means that you can ward a little bit more aggressively than you otherwise would do. Zay was in a position where he could have been caught out by Loud there, but they simply couldn't see the Pyke. And now we're getting another example of a team trying to sort of do their due diligence in this game. Los Grandes, with the Baron falling away, they don't want to overplay their hands. They take the gold lead that they've built for themselves, they reset, they're going to spend that on items and come back onto the map.
And 6,000 gold should be plenty for the next dragon, for the next Baron, for whatever they want to take next. The ball is in, unfortunately, Los Grandes' court, and Loud are going to have a difficult time catching this one, as they've got very limited space to play with, not a whole lot of vision that is theirs alone. Seos is having to spend all of his time clearing out the vision that Los Grandes just waltzed in and placed, and he's still not getting all of it.
It's just a little Amumu sort of walking around headbutting stuff.
Yeah.
And whilst like Loud, they're not like time pressured to clear out this vision in their own jungle, right? There's still 2 minutes until the Baron spawns, so plenty of opportunity for them to de-wards. They do need to be careful, because every time Los Grandes have moved into this topside jungle, they have looked for a fight. And if they find any member of Loud they're trying to defend vision, that member of Loud will probably die.
Tenons is just like, can somebody other than Ranger please walk into charm range?
No.
It is like... he's just waiting for the misstep, and it simply isn't happening. Loud caught underneath the tower. I will say Root very close to 3 items. And that's a lifeline for Loud if I've ever seen one. Zay, gonna go for the catch right now. Finds Croc for a second, and an effective defense in the mid lane tower is available for Loud, as now they've got everybody around and could be posturing for a team fight. Los Grandes, unfortunately, not gonna have that Baron anymore to make this an easy, clean finish on the mid lane tower, and we'll have to wait for the next Baron, if anything, to crack this, and then the base.
Yeah, and so we did just see a weakness of every single composition I seem to get in ARAM there for Los Grandes. Only one range character, which makes it quite difficult to siege, and even then Natuno has to kind of walk up and auto on the Veigar to do any damage to the tower, which does put him in threat range of a Malphite, of a Vi, obviously unstoppable in their own ultimate. So that Baron is really necessary for Los Grandes to commit to any of their sieges. Or alternatively, you could just kill a couple of the champions on Loud before you get to the towers, and then you tend to find that it's a lot easier to siege them down.
Yeah, once they can no longer step to it.
There's no one defending this!
30 seconds left on Baron, and you can tell from the way that Los Grandes are posturing, they're going to try and take this one off cooldown. It's actually a great opportunity for Los Grandes, because as soon as the Baron spawns, Loud have to leave this little bit of safety that they've got. They got the mid lane tower, they got this little brush right here that Tinones is somehow always in. Ranger scouting it out right now, but outside of this, Loud haven't had to move. Now, however, they certainly do.
I think moving might be a good idea now. I think Croc absolutely hates the side of Ranger in his jungle. Baron already dropping very low. Loud are not going to get here in time.
Croc flashes the wall. He gets it! Croc steals the Baron, keeping Loud in the game. He's going to die, but goddammit, he's going to die a hero.
Yeah, just about in time from Croc. Holy moly. He did not have a spare millisecond there. As soon as he gets into the pit, drops the smite down, and that is a lifeline for Loud.
I am amazed that they were able to pick that up. But even still, having lost a member, you said it yourself, you take out one person from Loud, it makes taking that subsequent tower much easier, and the dragon is a foregone conclusion. So putting themselves on soul point, Los Grandes have far from lost everything, but it crucially, Loud have gained a lot here.
Yeah, and compare how Los Grandes have been managing this lead they've had with the previous game. We'll talk about that a little bit after this replay. They're DPSing it down just fine, but there's no one running interference at all. This is the last possible moment for Croc to get into the pit. Ranger didn't get a chance to use his smite, and whilst the Vi may go down, that is a sacrifice you are absolutely willing to pay there on the side of Loud.
Yeah. I very, very happy with what Croc has been able to do. Unfortunately, I think it might be the last time that we see him smile in this game. Banshee's Veil purchased from Netuno is going to cause some serious problems. You remember how we said earlier, well, if they could just kill that pesky mage, with all of the cooldowns that Loud have, they're going to have to expend at least 2 of them in perfect succession to keep Netuno in line. That's when he has Cleanse and Flash as well.
That sounds like a tall order. But going back to what we were sort of just talking on after that Baron take, Los Grandes' game management hasn't really been as clean as what we saw from Loud in the previous game. So the main sort of thing to highlight there is we are still in this game. By this time, last game, we were no longer in game because Loud had won the game. And it's just that little bit of sloppiness around the Baron, allowing Croc to be in a position where he can come over the wall and smite it down. I get that you're going for the rush, but you still got to be respectful there. It's the fact that we've seen Loud be able to take a couple of Drakes, and Los Grandes haven't been able to play towards the Infernal Soul as a win condition. Finally, that's something that they've got on the board, but the longer that we stay in this game, the more that gold lead means less and less. The stronger Root is becoming, and you're giving Loud opportunities to take game 2 in this series and grab match point.
I love that you highlight Root because I've been getting kind of scared. With 3 items now and working on his 4th, that little bit of magic resist might just save him from Lava and Netuno. And if Root's alive, Loud have always got a shot to win the fight. However, I will say on the opposite side of the coin, feeling a lot like last game. If Root's dead, Loud can't really do much.
Yeah. Just don't die then, Forehead. Yeah. It's the sad situation that you end up as an AD carry, right? At this point in the game, because regardless of what happens, regardless of how weak-sided you've been, and the fact that you've not been sort of really allowed to participate as much in this game as you would have liked to, you're still, at this point now, you still have this responsibility to the rest of your team to pop off and do damage. 3-item Aphelios is nothing to scoff at. Yes, you'd want a couple more, but this is the lot that you've got, and this is what you've got to put up.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the way that both these teams have been playing it so far, and even just for Loud to be able to put up the fight that they have from a losing position bodes really well for what was a very fast last game to say, well, it isn't all momentum either. We've got our fundamentals in order, and when we're on the losing side of things, we're still putting ourselves in great positions. Just a couple minutes, actually, less than 2, on both of the objectives, and this is where we're going to come to an interesting decision. Los Grandes can actually leverage the fact that they're on soul point to force a Baron and just trade it out for Loud, which I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, do you know what really sucks to play against?
Tell me.
Infernal Soul Vega.
Yeah, it doesn't sound
that
good.
that guy is pressing Alt every 2 seconds, I swear. Like, at some point, I feel like his Q and R buttons like swap, and they don't change him back. But yeah, obviously more damage is always something that you're going to want to play towards if you're on the side of Los Grandes. But Loud, I mean, they've got a couple of Drakes themselves. If they can steal this one away, then they keep that timer going. They keep this Aphelios in the game. They keep themselves in with a shot of going 2-0 in this series. But Los Grandes, as scrappy and as messy as maybe it's been at a couple of points. They've really stepped up in this game too, and if they get the win here, would be absolutely deserving of it.
I cannot wait to see the next team fight, is really what I'm getting out of the last couple of minutes, because we've painted this picture where Los Grandes actually have a chance to take it, and now they've got, or sorry, rather, Loud actually have a chance to take it, and now Los Grandes are teleporting into the mid lane, ready to engage around this dragon. 10 seconds on it, but they want to have won the fight well before that. They could even turn and burn it down, as now, I mean, nobody's even pushing into this river.
Oh, no.
As Loud, Rangers looking for the engage right now. Cage is down. Loud do have an angle here. Remember, Netuno has got to be a big focus for them.
Robo is absolutely just toying with Los Grandes right now, and I think Loud are giving up any shots at the Infernal Drake. They are running straight for the Baron. They need to be so careful here, because Los Grandes are already on the way over, and whilst Root may have scaled, he's not got that much damage on the Aphelios.
Below half HP, Rangers not in range just yet. Out's gonna come the smite, and Loud pick up their second Baron of the two. But look, from the side, here it comes in, and he almost takes out Root. Instead, this Aphelios, who was alive for so long, gets shut down by lava, and the rest of Loud are wiped off the map, Baron or not.
Yeah, Robbo is going to run for the hills, but he cannot escape a clean ace for Los Grandes. They don't care about not getting that Baron. Those death timers are long enough for them to push through. Again, a little bit of a messy game for them at points, but what a performance from Netuno. This Veigar is must ban if Loud want to win the next two games easily.
There's just no answer to it, and let alone that, but the Jax and the Silas and the Pike are all running amok in your back line at the same time. Los Grandes from multiple roles are unstoppable in game number 2, a complete reversal of their performance in the first one.
Absolutely great stuff to see, and it was that sort of